and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Mashle, Dr. Stone, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week to discuss Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 10. I'm your host, Knox.
And Nickums.
And we are joined once again by Mello Yenis. Mello, welcome back, dude. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Before we get into the discussion, of course, take a look at the description down below. That's where you're going to see us on all of our individual social media accounts, ways that you can join online communities associated with Project Manga like Discord, ways that you can listen to us on audio-only platforms like Spotify and Apple, and ways that you can support what we do here through our online store and Patreon. But getting into the conversation tonight, no Jujutsu Kaisen, but I think Nick, you were the one that said, I had just heard that Gege was ill or sick.
Yeah, it was. This is unplanned, but not COVID, right? As far as we know, Gege put out a statement actually saying like just was sick. I'm feeling better now, but yeah, missed the deadline or whatever. So I think they're feeling better, and they should be back next week, obviously.
Cool, awesome. Well, how do you guys feel about the rest of the week in Jump?
Big week.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yes. So much stuff we've been waiting for.
A lot of the emotional meat
like,
for me.
Yeah, I feel like in like a couple different stories, a lot of things that we've been wanting to happen are kind of showing themselves now, and they've kind of in a couple of the stories, it's kind of been leading up to that. So it's nice to finally feel like things are working out a little bit here.
Nice little peak of the emotional roller coaster.
That's what it was. But yeah, let's get into Dr. Stone first this week.
Yeah.
With chapter 184. Do we have a title? Yes, we do. Fort Medusa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this fucking chapter, man. Wow. Yeah, what's up?
I was saying we're at the Stone Sanctuary. Like we're here. Right. We're at Stone Land. We're gonna make a new town or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool chapter though. Like starting off with like Chelsea showing us how specific gravity works in terms of like chucking for minerals or whatever. What do they call it? Panning for minerals.
Sifting for sediment and all that.
Yeah. Very interesting.
No, I quite liked it. I think that my favorite part was, maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but I liked kind of how this battle of minds between Dr. Zeno and
Senku.
Senku. Thank you. Between Senku and Dr. Zeno, their whole thing, like, I was really kind of worried. I was like, I think Zeno is starting to like get ahead of him with like blinking out Morse code, with magnetizing his claw to like send out signals for his people to pick up on. I was like, okay, he's a crafty adult. He's doing some pretty slick stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, yeah, we still need that boat, so like I let you do that. And
I love how neither one of them seemed to have the upper hand on the other for very long.
It's a great chess match.
Yeah, it is a good chess match, and I love how it's set up to where you're kind of supposed to worry for one side. I feel like I worry for both sides. Like whenever, obviously, I root for Senku and the protagonist, but I like Dr. Zeno as a character so much, and I like his role in the story right now that like. This battle of wits is written so well that whenever it feels like Dr. Zeno has the upper hand, I'm like, shit, what is Senku gonna do? And I get like worried because I'm worried for Senku, and then Senku will be like, no, I got you, bro, and then I'll be like, shit, Zeno, what are you gonna do now? And I just find myself like,
he's a very compelling bad guy. Great antagonist.
But yeah, like I said last week, I was pretty sure Senku knew that he was doing shady shit, with that radio or whatever. So like, definitely he could have missed it and maybe just had a hunch that something happened. But here we have like explicit like, oh yeah, like I'm pretty sure he was sending out some radio signals or something. Like, it's okay. Like I'm pissed off because you now we have to rush, right? Like now they're on their way quicker than they otherwise would have been. But they were gonna come anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got this. I've got faith in my team.
Yeah.
I liked the formation of the fort a lot.
Oh yeah,
it's very reminiscent of like the old school Japanese forts.
Sure.
Really easy to defend, pretty solid against sieges. But it has like a nice like irregular shape. Just to kind of like focus on like the geometry of it all. Yeah, no, I really like the art in this one. Like the previous chapters blew me away with like the giant mountain of Medusa.
Yes.
But then like this was like, oh man, that's still really pretty.
Yeah. I love how they're trying to set up this like Medusa like cannon thing. This Medusa this Medusa system of traps or whatever.
Just the Rube Goldbergian traps. No,
yeah. And we were talking about it last week. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mello.
No, I like that they're like, trial and erroring on the fly. They're like, hey, it worked. Oh, we just petrified a capybara. What we need to notch this up. And it's like it's smoother than a montage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the layering of how they're doing it, and they are logically progressing through problems and solutions.
Yeah, the trial and error aspect of like the experiments that they do and like the crafting that they do really really makes that keeps it grounded, you know what I mean? To see them like fail over and over again before achieving something, it brings that realness there of like actually applying science to things. So I like how they keep that
ongoing theme.
And I feel like they've been cutting a lot of the scientific processes for certain like things like out, like as the story progresses. It's like really, we've talked about it before, it's really heavy in the beginning because they really want to hook you with the science aspect, and then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, we've already done like a lot of the things we have to make requires like processes that we've already done, so we can, for the sake of time, cut out like all of the montages for everything. You know what I mean? But they still keep, a trial and error aspect to it. You know what I mean? And that makes it more, I don't know. I think even though it's like kind of like in this playful style, it still brings a level of tension to it because they are wasting time. Or they're not wasting time, but time is passing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have to get, things done. But I think it's funny how after all of the trial and error, it comes down to like, we're just gonna blow us all up, and then someone else will bring us back. You know what I mean?
We're just gonna wipe out everybody.
Yeah, because we were talking about it last week. We were like, "What? Okay, so we know that they're getting to the area of the last battle first. They're going to set up all of these traps, is what we can assume as far as like predictions go. So we always knew that they were going to set up an ambush for when Stanley arrived. But seeing it set up in this way, I don't know why I didn't expect something like this. You know what I mean?
Well, it's because like how they set it up was, even from last chapter, they were saying like, we're gonna make a gun, like we're gonna make like a machine gun out of shooting Medusas at like fast pace, you know what I mean? And as they're trying to make this over the chapter, I thought it was actually pretty cool that like you have this idea in your mind of what they're gonna make last chapter, and then quickly they reveal like it's too hard, right? Like we actually like can't even barely take these apart without breaking them. Like we're not going to be able to find or make diamonds as quickly as we'd want to be able to. So we have to kind of like pivot, keep going like plan B, plan C, plan D. And now we're on like, well, we do have one working Medusa. So what do we do with it exactly? And Chrome again, MVP comes in like with the best idea given the situation, right?
Yeah. I love how much focus Chrome is getting as like the ingenuitive like breakthrough character who, with all of this hardcore calculating that Zeno and Senku are doing, it comes down to whatever it is that Chrome has that they don't, and whatever that may be, whether it's just maybe it's because he's not clouded by everything he could possibly think about, that he's able to find the correct answer quicker than Zeno and Senku, because they just have so much raw data to sift through whenever thinking about anything. You know what I mean?
Because they are kind of like the epitome of the old school, and then Chrome is the new school, right? Like he's unfettered by any of like common sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like all the old ways of thinking. They're like, because like when Senku and Zeno were talking about like weapons, they're thinking about like modern day weapons, which is very much how can I do the most possible damage while suffering as little harm as possible. And then Chrome is just like, well, I mean, who cares about the harm? We can undo it.
Yeah.
Right? That's our ace in the hole, is that the harm doesn't actually stick.
Yeah.
So let's go with that, because it was great, because like they're like, hey, we gotta watch out for ambushes. We can't figure out where they're gonna approach. How are we gonna be able to trip this off when we need to, instead of like early on like some random wildlife? Like the capybara statues are delightful, but we don't need them.
Yeah. No, that's totally true for sure. Yeah. He's so far outside the box that he can't help but think outside the box. You know what I mean? He didn't grow up in the box like we all do or whatever.
Right. Exactly. Yes. He's always outside of the box. I love that.
something I really like from earlier in the chapter. So like they're kind of saying, okay, it's cool that there's all these rocks here or whatever. Like, wow, it's like it's so impressive that all these rocks are here. And then Gin kind of throws in this kind of little quip like, oh, like the classic thing we've heard before, a million times, right? Like it's kind of like humans are a virus. We're like a parasite, right? And it's almost kind of like a throwback to way at the beginning where like Tsukasa was like, no, we can't let people be revived, right? Like we're gonna take over the planet, we're gonna exploit it, we're gonna destroy it. But it really interesting that like, yeah. But like Kohaku is like. This is a very interesting approach on the writing to spin the answer this way, but it's like, what's cool? Like not just the Earth, but humans are fucking cool. Like we figured this shit out. We can like build shit using the Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Taiju's like, oh yeah, like I bet the Earth wants us to exploit it. You know what I mean? I think it wants us to get in there and get those rocks or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, well, just don't make the same mistakes we did. We're doing right now. You know what I mean? Like again,
it's definitely cool in the sense of like now that all of the people who were killing the planet are petrified and you guys are starting over.
Right.
Yeah, now that the Earth knows that you're not going to use it for the reasons you did last time, I bet it is stoked. Yeah, use my
Survive.
resources for like cool
do your
shit.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it when I was reading that for the first time, I was like, yo, where are we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
Yeah.
I understand we needed like a hopeful uptick.
Yeah,
but
it is cool. But it is cool because yes, it is tight that humans, as soon as we get here after 150,000 years or so, found out this much about the Earth and nature. You know what I mean? When the Earth has been here for what 5 billion years, I think, 4.5 billion years or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's really cool. But
Yeah. No, I just thought it was interesting, like an interesting approach to that common, statement, right?
Yes,
like that,
dude.
you hear it, comedians, movies, books, everything, hinting
it's really
at this
saturated
theme.
our like cultural consciousness.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
The part I like, because like the pacing, like we were talking about how Chrome is starting to shine again. I like that Stanley has used the old school method to take out like the top hitters, right? With the Hyoga and Tsukasa, and like they're out of commission, and so it's time for the people that are the new school to like really step up and like, hey, this is our world. It's the stone world. We've been here forever, and we still got it. Doesn't matter how cool your tactics or training or old school methods. They're efficient, yes, but are they going to win the day? We'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm excited to see that.
And it's a really interesting approach because it's like, okay, so Tsukasa is de-petrified and one shots a lion in like episode 2 or chapter 2 or whatever, chapter 1. And then it establishes this like crazy power situation, in the series. At least it did inside of his character. And then you start meeting other physically capable characters on par with Tsukasa, and you're like, oh my god, like these are crazy obstacles right now. Then they become allies, and you're like, okay, well, are they just going to be the answer to like any physical issue that like comes up because they're so strong? But then Riichiro does a really good job of like knowing when to use these characters and how to nerf them, how to take them out of the story in ways that are believable, so that the power situation doesn't get like ridiculous. Like, well, how come Tsukasa didn't just handle that? How come Hyoga didn't just handle that? You know what I mean? So
can't
like
one-hand a bullet.
Right. Yeah. But then you get to a situation here where their backs are against the wall and they have all of these ridiculous odds. So you're like, okay, unleash Shishio and Hyoga, but then no, they're removed from the situation too in a moment where it makes perfect sense to let them run wild. You know what I mean? And it's like now that creates this even more stakes and even more tension because you're not using your powerhouses when you totally could, and it would make perfect sense, and you already haven't been using them that much throughout the series anyway. You know what I mean? It's just great decision making, as far as the stakes go, in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure.
Elegant stakes making and like good pacing, and it really brings back the central idea of like humanity is best as a team, working together as a group, and like we don't have claws, we don't have poison sacks. We just got teamwork. Like that's our thing.
Leonidas and Thermopylae type beat.
It's good.
300.
I like it. Oh yeah, the squad.
Gang shit. Oh my god, Kaseki. This panel when Chrome is like, yeah, Kaseki's about to bust out of his clothes right now and get busy on this. And then it's like that little like butt naked Kaseki with like the wood in front of his junk or whatever. I was like, oh shit, oh my god. And then he's like, I don't know if I can fuck with this because it's like the shit is like too small even for me to like fuck with or whatever. And then he just breaks it. And then they said that even the watchmaker guy can't even like deal with this. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what are they gonna do then? Because it's like that was their tiny, intricate, delicate, handcraft work dude. So
that means he's just got to level up,
Oh, like, sure.
You need to put the experience, level up that technology, and he'll upgrade eventually.
I guess. Gonna have to plus ultra.
Maybe they'll find like a bunker with like actual good tools for it. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. It's part of the sci-fi, genre where I'm just kind of half expecting. It's like, where's the bunker where they produced these Medusa? Like, sure, we have the pile of Medusa, but where were they made?
Sure. They could have been made on the moon, though. They could have been made on the moon because they were dropped from the moon, presumably.
Yeah.
That's why they're like going to the moon. Yeah. It's interesting. That's an interesting question because I think part of the setting here of Dr. Stone, right? Like 5,000 years later, like I think all the metal that we made has like disintegrated, but like I don't know the science enough to know like could there be an underground bunker of like a really airtight or something like not
where the
no elements
didn't meet it.
Moisture and air and everything didn't rusted over 5,000 years, right? Like could there still be technology underground? But I think most of the even the metal of the buildings has rusted away over 5,000 years.
Yeah.
So unless there's still a moon base, or maybe if there was a moon base, like maybe space is also like it would never disintegrate in space kind of thing, right?
Right.
Or an underground thing. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Like because I mean it's a good question.
Yeah.
If we can't really fuck with the Medusas with our shitty tech in this, stone age, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? What do you do in this situation, right? Yeah. Very interesting.
If they went to the moon to shoot everyone, does that mean that they went to the moon to make the Medusas? Because if they had the tools to make the Medusas down here first and then went to the moon and did everything, then there could be, sets of tools up there and down here. You know what I mean?
And also, think of how many they dropped, right?
Right.
Like billions of them, right? Think of how heavy it would be to bring them up to the moon.
Yeah.
Like they probably built them on the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the space cost, the travel to get the space would be too much, and people wouldn't have seen that coming.
I don't know if it like, but the thing is like, that's the thing. The astronomical cost of them. Did they even go to the moon, or did they just shoot it straight up in the air as high as they could and then just drop it? And it's like people think that they came from the moon, or maybe the signal came from the moon.
Yeah,
it came up to like near exit the atmosphere, and then it reached the signal from the moon so that no one else on the ground would detect it, and then it would meet it halfway, and then it would receive that signal and then plummet back to the ground.
Boom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Then the leftover rocket material just decays over 5,000 years.
Right.
Oh,
I don't
know.
What
an idea.
Yeah.
Because it really caught people with their pants down. They're like, so I think that the signal didn't come from the Earth. I think the signal came from the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think makes sense.
I don't know if the Medusas themselves came from the moon.
Yeah. The Medusas come from the moon. Well, now that you say it, it seems preposterous, right? It's a long way. It's a long way to the moon.
Yeah.
It's a great mythos. But like I don't know. Like we're in an age where like Elon Musk is trying to send shit up there, and it's like, okay, guy, like I'm seeing your mixed failures and successes. Like, okay, I don't know if we could do 1 billion Medusas.
But I mean, if it was paid for, then that begs the question, like, okay, well, then
who paid for
there's
it?
only a certain handful of people who can afford this kind of thing, and you can just trace the paper trail back to who did it if you have the technology to trace the paper trail, which I don't think that they do. But still, wow.
I'm very interested to see like who ordered this? Who brought this upon the world?
Yeah.
Why? Is it going to be the Illuminati? Part of me feels like it's always going to be the Illuminati. But
that's going to be. I bet you that's going to be like one of the last questions.
It's got to be
answered. That's like
it's going to be like
last
final
10
arc.
chapters. Yeah, type shit.
Speaking of last 10 chapters, I'm waiting for that robot to come back, like because it like looped out. And then I'm waiting for that robot his dad made to like come back in his cobbled together spaceship.
Wait, what? The robot? Am I
From like the
forgetting
side
a
manga?
The
You
sides,
talking?
yeah,
I
from his
haven't
like
read the
his like.
Byakuya
I've not read
stuff.
the dad
yeah.
manga. Yeah.
Oh shit! I probably
Yep.
should read that.
I really liked it.
Is that still going?
No, it ran
was just
its
a limited
thing.
series?
It ran its series, and then it's like, oh, everyone's gone. Well, I need to keep repairing the ship so when they come back, and it piloted itself as like, I need to go to these asteroids to pick up this material, and I'll just keep absorbing water and getting all these supplies and retrofitting and like recycling to make this thing, and eventually I'll use gravity to like push me back into orbit.
Oh,
Yo.
damn. Okay, now I gotta read this.
He's like, I don't care if it takes thousands of years. I'll be waiting for them. And it's just like, oh, sad.
Wow.
Beautiful little robot.
Yeah. Well, shit. I'll read that.
Feels.
Yeah. So this last like part with this tower. So this is where they're going to put the Medusa that petrifies everyone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's right some there reason, in the top right of page 19.
Yep. Yeah,
I wonder if they're gonna use
and speaker. Yeah.
Some of the extra Medusas as decoys because they know Stanley's a great sniper.
Yeah,
and so they'll make like a more obvious trap, and then there'll be like a secondary thing, like maybe 5 feet underneath it.
I feel like it's going to be a like one-up kind of situation where it's like the first trap, then Stanley's gonna get over that, and they're like, "You thought we only set one trap," and then it's gonna be the second trap, and then Stanley's gonna be like, "You thought we were only expecting one trap," and then they're gonna get through the second trap, and then it's gonna be like a back and forth until some super epic final trap kind of situation.
Sure. I'm waiting for them to do like a grenade tube and knock down the tower, and they're like, "How do we salvage this, guys?"
I don't know.
Quick, Taiju, monkey up that collapsing building and grab it. We need you to do it.
Yeah. I feel like we're about to see all of the best feats from like every individual talent in this next clash. Like everyone is going to show out in their like special way.
The charlatan's gonna have so many bluff traps to like. You thought it was this trap. Ha!
I'm just excited to see like Kohaku go crazy and like Ukiyo do some like crazy Ukiyo shit. I don't know, like I don't really know exactly what it is, but I know Riichiro's got something cooking for everybody involved, bro. Like everybody's got to show
I really
out,
want
man.
Kohaku to pop off because I really liked it when they fought the Medusa the first time. And I really loved that she got a time to shine. But she did it mostly in stealth. So I want to see her like front and center against Stanley.
Ooh.
We'll see. I know they're very worried about guns, as you should be, right? But like, I mean, I definitely want there
to. So like,
yeah.
And like, Stanley's gonna be like cold-blooded without guns too. Like when it finally comes down to it, and he's got to like, what are you gonna do without your guns now? Stanley's gonna be like, what? Just go crazy with some martial arts, bro.
He's gonna do like Russian sambo or something.
It's gonna be like Krav Maga. Yes. Can't wait for that. I think I'm good on this chapter, though. I don't know if you guys had anything else you guys wanted to say, but
no, that's all I had.
Okay. All right. Getting into Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 49, Mash Burn Dead, and the Brawny Balloon. How do we feel about this chapter, you guys?
Solid chapter.
It was good, campy fun.
Yes, exactly. Everything you want in Mashle was in this chapter, I think. We've got the Deader Vance. Luckily, just regenerate immediately. Like I like that they did not give Mash like an immediate out. Like, oh, you'll just destroy the Deader Vance and it's over. Whatever.
I totally thought they would just crumble and just be done, and they would just be like, all right, on to the next event. I think I said that last week too.
Nope. Necromancy, reanimate, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
And we got a boy from Adler, a third year from Adler, so not in the core squad or whatever, but someone who obviously knows about MASH because it's the same dorm, right? This Max Land fellow.
Right.
It was interesting, like seeing his magic. He can change the size of things, right?
Yeah.
So like, all right, let's do a line analysis. So here's my interpretation of the lines as they relate to his ability, because I really want this theory to be true that like lines directly correlate to your magic.
Right.
So like they like start at his jaw wide, and then it goes into his like up his cheekbones or whatever, and then it's small. So it's changed shape over time, right? And then you know what I mean?
Or it represents a balloon, and like the mouth of the balloon. You know what I mean? Coming down and then getting bigger.
Yes.
Because balloons are like very easy size, changing things. You know what I mean?
I love that too.
It could look like a balloon,
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, on his face, like with both of the lines accounted for, and like, like
the expansion and
yeah, bro,
perfect. And it's like it kind of like leaves a kind of like a more of a bottleneck, right? So it's
yes, the bottleneck effect. Max Land. I wonder if names have anything to do.
They might. Someone messaged me on Twitter saying like there was someone a couple chapters ago like this more tomato or something. You know what I mean? It's like what if they have like there was their name like more tomato.
Oh yeah,
it's
more tomato.
Yeah, it's like what if they have like plant magic or something, right? Like based on the name, you know. So I think it could be true or whatever.
They just thought like salad attack, giant crouton.
So like even max land, right? Like making land maximum, like how, like,
or is it land mass? Land max, and then mass is something that is smaller or bigger.
Sure,
because he changes the mass of things. So it's almost like a reverse of like. Yeah.
Okay. I could see it.
Or it's something like Benjamin and then Benjamax, you know, something like
Benjamax.
What the fuck is Benjamax?
What is Benjamax?
It's just like minimum, maximum.
Oh, sure. Benjamin Max. Oh.
Yeah, so I imagine it's like you know, a play on like minimum, maximum. You know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
you know,
sure.
Minimum size, that kind of thing. Or minimizing, maximizing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like maximum, like, but then the land being like, because they went smaller, right? They shrunk down, which means the land became as maximally big as it could in relation to their little bodies, right? But it doesn't like really describe how it could shrink or grow things too, right? I don't know.
Backstory for him: he's a landed noble, but it's a really tiny plot of land. It's just it's like the 1 square foot. So technically, like in Scotland, it's like I'm technically a lord.
Yeah.
So one of the best like strength flexes in a while, I feel like comes in this chapter, and I think it's funny how they're like, Max Land is like, don't make a sound. And then Mash trips. And then instead of tripping, he says, fuck that. Just like sticks his toes in the ground.
Yeah.
And is just like leaning like the Michael Jackson video. I think it's
it's
Beat It, maybe. Or maybe it's
Billie
Annie, are you
okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the song.
You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal.
Yeah. It's totally that video.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So funny.
Is this a Demon Slayer reference? I'm kidding.
And then they're like, all right, so what's up with this balloon?
Honk.
Yeah. Anything, it honks no matter where you touch it. But they broke it and it didn't. They punched it. Okay, so if you touch the black thing on the bottom, or if you touch the balloon, it honks. But then they crushed one of the connecting pieces and it didn't honk, right?
Well, I think they just broke it off screen.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I think they just smashed it, but they didn't like run away for it or anything. So maybe they're like, if you touch it gently, it'll be like that. So like, because like I think that like because of the way the test is set up, where it's taking into account the way people would think, they're already in a game of hide and seek. So if they're doing stealth missions, then it would make sense for them to go softly, and so it punishes any soft touch of it.
Okay, I can see that.
So I imagine that the others, they just use they're like, if they use their magical power hard as hell, as hard as they can, it won't make any sound.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you get past conventional thinking? Like, because like these guys are like, you have magic, it can do anything, it is amazing, but how do you apply it? That's what we're testing.
Yeah.
Sure. And if you do, say in Mash's case, use immense physical force, it doesn't honk, but it also like doesn't free the key. Like the key is magically in there. So like it doesn't matter if you break it and it doesn't make noise because it won't help you really. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. That's the vibe I got. I
like that.
The whole scenario reminded me of like Dead by Daylight. With like the dead events.
I watched my
homeboy.
Yeah, my homeboy streams that. I like. That's a really cool game.
It definitely got me those vibes where like you're just running away and then you're just hiding. You're like,
yeah. Wow.
No, I really liked it.
I like how Bash just starts breakdancing to put wind into this fucking balloon.
So good.
He's so ridiculous. Dumb, but so cool.
Yes.
I just love how his thing is just like the gag is that like he's going to do something out like crazy physically, you know, for a joke, you know, and also to move the plot forward. But like that's such a broad range of things that you could ever come to expect. You know what I mean? Like we'll probably never be able to guess like what ridiculous strength feat he'll use to get out of bed to do anything until he does it, because it's so broad, and that's really cool.
He is like the Ant-Man of physical abilities, where he's just been alone his entire life and had nothing but time to like pick up all these like active hobbies.
Yeah.
So like boxing, jujutsu, judo, powerlifting, breakdancing. I'm just waiting for him to like hardcore parkour. Like I'm just waiting.
Oh yeah, we're definitely.
Why not?
I feel like we'll definitely get all types of parkour shit later. Like,
but I totally know what you mean, Knox. Where it's like in this situation in particular, right? Like you're trying to force air into a balloon. Like I could have imagined him taking a big breath and just shooting out breath. I could imagine him doing a T-pose and just spinning like a helicopter.
Yeah.
I could imagine him like just punching up and like shooting a blast of wind like All Might, right?
Yes.
Like there's a million ways you can shoot an air blast with physical effort, but of course like we'll never predict it, and what we get is breakdancing here, which is just fucking awesome.
Yes.
Just so like you said, Mello, like just it's campy fun. It's just campy, a campy good time, you know.
And these are the kind of situations that it fits for. Obviously, we're not going to like we'll get funny mash feats when the tone of the arc is serious, but like he'll never win a serious confrontation with this breakdance move. You use it in these kind of situations because it's such a good gag, and like it's a great overarching gag for your series. It's the perfect overarching gag for the series. But you have to, as an author, know when to use it and allow the situations where it makes sense to use them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's great that even though this is a serious enough situation to where we can take it seriously enough to not expect something like this at every point of the arc, but this is the arc you do that stuff in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I also like kind of like the mental humor where Max is just like, man, this guy's a pushover. Are you all right? You used a lot of big words, man.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Follow the Dettervins.
Yeah. Gave him this whole like play-by-play explanation, like this because this and this and that and over there and that and that's like we should. And he's like, can you simplify this, please?
Explain this to me like I'm 3 years old.
Yeah. Follow that guy.
Yeah.
Follow those butcher dudes.
Right.
Fine. Perfect. I'm on it.
One other interesting thing in this chapter, page 7, Lance out here. We got just 2 panels for him, a ... and a that is ... So I wonder if is someone attacking him, like maybe Margaret or something, right? Like is something like what would he be looking at here?
Right.
That's noteworthy. Like why would you even put these panels here?
Right.
It's probably not a Detter van.
Everything.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what Lance is about to get himself into here.
Oh man, and I feel like I feel like the Mashle reread might be in order.
Innocent Zero.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean that would be there's a good time to introduce them, right? Like interrupting an exam kind of thing, like in the My Hero Academia or whatever back in the day.
Yeah, the sports festival.
Strike and replace them, like Himiko Toga, you know, just
exam
like
festival?
Get some doppelgangers in there.
It was some exam. It was some test they were doing. I don't think it was. I think the sports festival concluded without issue. But, yeah. What were you saying?
But I was thinking that they might do something similar to like what Himiko Toga did, where they replace somebody and then have some doppelgangers, some agents, or they use their parasite on like a student and have like an inside man, so to speak, or like something wriggling in someone's eye that can like show them what the student's seeing.
Oh, I like that. Ooh, because then it would be Lance looking at someone, seeing the parasite and being like, yo, that student is parasitized right now or whatever. Like, that's weird.
I see someone choking down a giant leech. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Yo, that is definitely a very big question, because like honestly, until you pointed it out, I kind of like brushed past that and like didn't even.
It's easy to brush past for sure.
Yeah, but there is a whole 2 panels in the middle of other things happening that just shows Lance looking at something and wondering, thinking about it. Doesn't show anything. Like literally just 2 panels. That's got to be huge.
Yep, for sure.
That's gotta be huge. Wow.
Exciting.
Yeah.
That's all I had for Mashle this week.
Yeah, I think that's all I had too. Very fun chapter though.
Short but sweet.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Black Clover chapter 281, Assault on the Kingdom. How do we feel?
This first page, super interesting. Like I want to talk to y'all about this because I don't fully understand the narrative impact of this first panel, right? Like demons are like, so we've gotten comments before about how like the demons are different than devils, right? There's devils, they're coming out of hell or whatever, or Cliffloth or the underworld or wherever they're coming out of, and you can do devil contracts and devil unions, but demons are different. Demons are these big giant things.
Yeah.
But why? Like, what's the narrative impact of saying demons are a miracle born from human hatred and the power of the underworld, and then saying that like these two giant ones actually were Spade Kingdom royal youths who were angry at each other and then became demons? Like, how is this going to come into play? I'm
this is
so
a big question.
Curious about this.
Because normally like when I see pages like this, you know what I mean, I get like really hype about the information that it's going to have. Like usually we just have raw text pages like in the start of a chapter. Like we've seen them recently in My Hero Academia with the Tartarus chapters. Jujutsu Kaisen, you get like them all the time. I feel like whenever they're explaining, like Sukuna's ability or some like geopolitical significance of what's happening in the story or something, you get like these long you get these long paragraphs on of exposition on your first couple pages, and I see that here for Black Clover and I'm like, sick exposition, what are they talking about? And it's this demon stuff, and I'm like, okay, this has to be a really big deal eventually. I don't know when. I don't know when, but I like how this page, which I thought when I opened it up I was like, oh shit, we're getting a whole bunch of like info here, but it's not like, okay, so here's explaining something that you've been wondering about or something like that. It's like, no, it's a plot thread for way later. Now I'm like really curious, and I'm like, I like the execution.
Questions.
I like the execution on this, is what I'm saying, basically. Yeah.
I like it because like Black Clover is usually a pretty straightforward series, so having like exposition that is transparent doesn't really work for it, but like exposition that is foreshadowing and drives the plot, or at least piques our interest, works for it great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This chapter was really elaborate. Like there was so much going on. Like there was a few pages near the end that but that's the thing, they put so much effort and time and detail into the almost every page that it was like, I understand exactly why that is. Like, I don't even hold that against them. It's just like, oh, that makes sense.
Right. A few unfinished panels is what you're talking about, in terms of the art.
Only a few, which is surprising. It's
I
like,
wonder if Thomas is like okay, or if that was like I don't know what it is, but the art that is the like, because despite those like unfinished pages or those unfinished panels towards the end, like the art in this chapter is phenomenal. Like this this double spread page, or I think close to a double spread. This 4 and 5. I thought it was double spread at first. I don't think it is actually.
Right.
But page 4. This giant demon on page 4 looks fucking amazing.
Oh man.
Yes.
These demons are great.
Yes.
I love this shading effect that Tabata does, where it's literally just like horizontal lines, sketchy horizontal lines. You know what I mean?
It gives me like less dark Berserk vibes, where they do like sketching of the musculature, the hatch marks on the body, the texture for that. And the thing is,
does feel very there.
They did this really well. I didn't notice, but like seeing that there was the two devil demons in the front page exposition helped me kind of like make it click in my head.
Right. It reminded me that there were two demons, because last week I was confused about there were the two demons.
Their coloration is inverted, like yin and yang.
Sure.
So there's the big white demon with the black dark core, and then there's the dark demon with the like pale core.
Yeah.
And it has the yin and yang. It has the kind of thing, and it reminds me. I feel like it's going to be like a similar kind of thing between like Asta and Yuno once again.
Sure.
It's but it's like for the Spade Kingdom specifically. When it talks about like two brothers who became demons and were friends but hated each other. It reminds me of the Japanese story Red Oni, Blue Oni, where two Onis were really good friends, but one of them wanted to be the hero, and so the other one helped this elaborate ruse to like be the bad guy, and then they fought each other, and then they were sad, and then they were like, "You're dying, but you're my friend again." And this one is just like they were friends and then just hated each other. Like,
sure.
It's a nice inversion of that. And
That's
I like
cool.
the kind of I think that they're like, because for me, hate and love are very much intermingled. Like the opposite of love is apathy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I think that like the demons hating each other, like one of the phrases that always stuck with me, it takes a lot of love to hate you like this.
Yeah. Sure.
That kind of thing. And so I imagine the demons are there. And then they're also doing very similar abilities where they're like, I have an expansion, I have a vortex, it's like, okay. And I think they're also using each other as kind of like a weird wormhole thing. So
wait a minute.
I thought
the vortex, I don't know why I thought I thought the vortex magic was this purple orca dude.
Oh yeah.
While Captain Kaiser and the purple orcas are slowing it down,
it definitely is.
I thought bro like jumped in because I don't think we've ever seen this Kaiser dudes like activate before. Maybe we haven't. I just don't remember. But I thought that this was like the first time that he was actually kind of like doing something and
actually using it. Yeah.
Magic.
The way I read it initially was that he was the thing was like, because it has that giant seam.
Right.
I was imagining it as like it was coming out of his body.
Yeah.
Like sucking it in. Like they are launching themselves with magic, and then it's like slowly absorbing them. Like that's where the shape of it was coming in, because it was sucking them in.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I think it's probably the
but
dude.
I think it's more on your take on it.
Yeah,
I think
it's more
accurate. Which is cool. Like it's cool that we're seeing this dude fight finally, or at least for what I remember finally. So is he, because like when it says vortex magic area helix on page 5, and then it shows the dude right next to all of his people again on page 6. So like, but then it shows only like one body that I see like in the middle of the area helix attack on page 5. So I thought that he jumped in by himself, but then he's like surrounded by all of his people again.
Is he like, is it like a teamwork magic?
That's what I'm thinking.
They are like collectively, he's controlling the magic, but they are all channeling all their magic as a group as part of the vortex.
Sure. I could see that
because
too.
Like whirlpools are fluid, but like each drop of water is part of a collective.
Yeah. It's just very weird how the scene is composed, because I'm like, and I thought that like the composition in this chapter was awkward at a couple different points in time. Not just because of the unfinished panels or whatever, but I just feel like the way that things are just positioned is like it was very hard for me to follow the flow of the action.
Right. I mean, that one's a very good example. I think as we go deeper in the chapter, we'll maybe find more. But yeah, like definitely, I totally agree with y'all that like, I don't know what is happening here. Like, why is there a person in that vortex on page 5? When I first read it, I thought everyone was jumping in, and that only you can only see the main guy because he was the one casting the spell, and that's why you only see one body there. But they're all there. But then you have, I don't know, like it just seems like they're all just standing. Like, how can they all be flying? Upward by the demon. So like they seem to be all standing back at a distance. I just don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, the thing is, I feel like there's also like, this is like a very chaotic war, like a very chaotic combat scene. So like, I understand that like, that might be the intention behind it, where they are trying to kind of capture that sort of frenetic chaos of the moment. Because like, and like the way the demons are posed, they take up huge portions of every page. Any page they show up on, they take up so much space,
right?
Because they're so overwhelming, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that might be kind of what he's going for, and I like it. Like it's like Cloverfield, right?
Oh,
where
sure,
it's
yeah.
very, very chaotic, very awkward, but like it still portrays this
this big
intensity.
zoomed in. Whenever you see the monster, it's always like really zoomed in to probably give the audience a feeling like you can't escape from this thing. You can't get away from it.
Like whatever page this demon is, any of the demons are on, it's just looming.
Yeah,
sure. I do have the answer here now that I'm paging through again or whatever.
Okay.
Look at page 9. What is happening is that everyone is there. Everyone is in a big group floating in this dude's vortex.
Ah, yes.
So you can see tons of bodies on page 9 in this vortex that is being destroyed in that panel by the demon or whatever. So that's what's going on there. They're literally floating in a ball together. And I guess the only reason you only see one on page 5 is that he's the one casting the spell. He's the most important that you draw that one for sure. But even if you look on page 5, like he's there in this kind of like flame within the vortex. I think that flame is where everyone is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very subtle.
That's secondary ball. Yeah.
The secondary ball. Yeah.
But yeah. Oof.
I love that on page 7 we have who are these? We have Solid Silva and Kirsch Vermilion here. I love that this dude is literally casting his cherry blossom magic as if it would do anything. like why would you expect it to do anything? Like all it's done, I'm pretty sure this story is like hamper your view of things and like I don't know, like I don't recall it being a big wall.
It got shot right through for sure.
It went right through it.
Yeah.
But
I understand it's just meant to show like our powers can do nothing here, but what did you think they were gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, what did you think was gonna happen here?
But you got to do what you can.
Do you think that they're using the magic to kind of like curve the trajectory of it? Because I know
like that's
doing
what
it with like
Buddy's
the water
doing
creation.
with the sea serpent's bellow for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But they just
the sea serpent did something.
Attack. Yeah, they did a combination attack here with the magic cherry blossom storm of petals and the transient illusion. I don't know what combination. Like, I don't know what that combination was supposed to do.
Right.
But, like, it just got instantly shot right through without kind of, like, seeing what the purpose of it was, which is, like, weird. It's like, okay, I understand that the point is to show the overwhelming power of the demon, but, like, what was that supposed to be? Like, show what that was supposed to be first. Like,
was it to draw aggro? Like,
maybe it was to draw aggro, sure.
Or it might have been... And I think maybe he would have expected this, right? Like it might have been just to obscure the vision, right, of the demon. Because now that I'm looking closer at page 7, you can see the demon in there. There's a tornado. There's a tornado of cherry blossom plus petals and mist, I guess, is what's happening here. There's a tornado, and behind the tornado, you can see the demon, his face, and you can see both of them kind of like they're zoomed in, but they're also zoomed out or whatever.
Yes,
like
I do
small
see
little dots.
The face now, very subtly. It's like half.
So maybe it was
face,
just vision, just vision. As maybe that would help a little bit.
Keep the people in the vortex from getting swatted.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I mean that's pretty risky. Like just charging in like the whole platoon just directly into his chest.
Okay,
like,
I kind of like
dangerous.
That.
So like I can see why it would go for it, but
not block a laser, but make it so the demon couldn't easily pick out the individual magic knights
or anyone.
In the vortex.
It's just like it'll just blind fire.
Sure.
Like Damnatio's power still is tricky. It because it's similar to like the Undead Unluck Justice thing. It's one of the more abstract abilities, and the fact that it is like equilibrium.
Yeah, I always assumed that there was an amount of power that was loaded on one end of the scale, and then once power is shot at him, he reduces the power to basically like match whatever is on the other side, so that like the potency is like lowered a great deal, so that it's like the
I do think that's why he says like I can't negate it completely. Like his magic doesn't just magically negate something like it would in Undead Unluck or whatever. So I do think you are probably right, Knox, in terms of because on the scale there is a weight, right? Yes. That weight must have been put there with his magic as like a counterbalance to the beam, and that's why he couldn't reduce the beam entirely. He didn't put enough magic into his magic.
But then why would the speed matter then?
Or does it represent his upper limit?
Is it loading how heavy one side of the scale is right now, and the beam is getting to him before it can reach a weight that effectively equalizes the power that's about to be absorbed? If that makes sense.
Or it might be like a seesaw, like when a fat kid gets on a seesaw and it just launches the other kid. Like, it's just it was too fast. We didn't ease into it.
So what I'm saying is he shoots them. He's shooting the demon is shooting the magic right now. Then Damnatio is like, all right, well, let me put this scale up and block this. And then while he puts the scale up, there's a channeling time that creates the weight on one side of the scale. Mm-hmm. And if he had all the time in the world, he could probably make it as heavy as it needs to be on one side.
Like he's increasing his magical density.
Right. So like there's a channeling time that establishes the weight on one side of the scale, where if he had all the time in the world, then he can make that side as heavy as it needs to be to properly equalize the energy that's coming. But since it's so fast, he doesn't have enough channeling time to make sure that one end of the scale is heavy enough to properly equalize what's coming.
Sure.
I also think that maybe
I'm trying my best with that.
I think the weight is might represent some of his upper limit, the full breadth of his mana capacity.
Yeah,
so he can kind of put that out there, puff it out, and then it'll create that weight, and he can balance that much. That's as much as he can reflect back at them. But it's such high concentrated magic that he can only reflect so much. Plus, he's also concentrating on reversing the Magic Emperor's age.
Well, see that one
he's they're borrowing each other's magic, he's balancing it out.
I don't think he's doing it at that time though. So he's definitely, certainly on page 10, 11, he's blocking a beam, and then I don't know, it's hard
because he says he's combining his power with Damnatio's.
See, this is what I mean by the composition of the action shown through the panels, is that I feel like there could be an extra panel or two added to really show exactly what's happening, but we just get what we get, and it transitions from moment to moment so quickly that it's I feel like it's just missing a panel or two to really flesh the vision out of the scene. You know what I mean? Because
where the magic is being, and I totally agree with you, Knox, for sure. It is a little quick to follow over, but part of this dude's magic, the scale magic though, isn't just balancing out scales. He can actually manipulate the scale. He can take his hand, or figuratively, right, and move the scale intentionally. So I think what he's doing with scale magic, scale regulate here against this beam, that's balancing the scale or whatever, because he's not doing anything intentional. I think what Julius is saying with if I combine my power with Damnatio's, that's where he would manually manipulate the scale to increase the output of Julius's magic or whatever.
Or maybe he can use his time magic to kind of freeze the scale so that it can stock load more stuff on the other end. I don't know. That's the strange thing about conceptual abilities.
Yeah.
Like that. It's very tricky. And I think that maybe next chapter there'll be a little more exposition, but
maybe
I don't think so, because Asta's finally out of training mode, out of training hell, and is here. It's probably going to be a focus on that, and then probably 5 to 8 pages of the squad in the Spade Kingdom getting wrecked.
Yeah.
Because the twin devils have exited the first layer of the Klipoth. And they're also twins, which is interesting because they're both devils. So there's two twin devils and there's twin demons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like these are twin demons that are the ones who corrupted these demon people? These two princes?
That's an interesting idea.
And that they are the progenitors of this tradition of Spade royalty interacting with devils?
It could be something like that.
Now that you say that, I think you're right. Actually, I think you are right in the sense that the pattern on these demons' chests, this cross-hatched cross kind of thing, right? That's the same pattern on Dante. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's the same. So, it's an exaggerated pattern of Asta's headband. You know what I mean? That.
So what if
Asta's headband?
What if you use 100% demon demon union or whatever in the Spade Kingdom way, whatever, right? Like not like Asta and Noct. Asta and Noct are doing their version of Devil
They're
Union.
doing contracts, yeah.
Yeah,
there's like fusion or whatever.
Yeah. Right. So whatever the one that the Dark Triad has, that's probably the bad kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what if they use their devil magic too much, they could turn into demons.
Ooh.
Because they hate people. They have the human hatreds. Obviously, Dante has human hatred, and he has the power from the underworld, right? Yeah. So I think that would work very well with what you're saying, Mello.
I think that they will become demons once they hit like, I don't know, 200% or something.
No, like what?
150%, that kind of thing.
Oh, you think we're going over 100?
I don't know, because like I feel like there would be, because it's like I like the idea, because like with these twins, there's this whole sense of equilibrium and stuff, and so like if you have a human that is like one part human, one part thing, it's still a half and half drink. Sure. But if you have 2 parts demon, 1 part human, then you have a mostly thing, and it dilutes it, right? Yeah. Like maybe there will be only like a merest spark of humanity left in them.
Sure.
Because like these demons are strong as hell.
Right.
I don't think that Dante and the Dark Triad are quite there yet. They're very, very powerful.
Right.
But they're not nearly on the same level as these giant behemoth buddies.
I agree.
And where's Mereoleona this whole time? Because the last time we saw her, she was like, "Oh, y'all are really turning up now. All right, bet." And then she's
fighting the one.
She's fighting. I thought we saw both of them fighting in this one.
No.
She's fighting the white one.
Yeah, the one with the short horns
attacking the Clover Kingdom.
The short horn one is attacking the Spade Kingdom, and Mereoleona is fighting that one. The longhorned one is attacking Clover Kingdom.
Or the second page, we see Mereoleona right there. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because there's so much going on with this series that I think that like each chapter will have to be really paced well, because like it might be focused on like, and people are like, oh, why are you only focusing on one particular fight? But like they spent this chapter trying to like say, hey, this is everything that's going on, and then you can zoom in, have one full chapter dedicated to like a small portion, and then zoom in next chapter, and do kind of a series of scenes.
Yeah.
Without feeling too cramped. So I think this might be like necessary growing pains into that transition.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this last part with Asta, I like the drawing of Asta. Obviously, it's the one that's completed. You know what I mean, on the last little like double spread page.
It isn't even all the way completed, but yes, it is the most completed.
I guess now that I'm looking at like his knees, and like the end of his foot, and
like behind him, like the Julius and Damnatio.
But as far as like the Asta himself goes, he's
mostly complete.
He's pretty well done, and that looks great.
Yeah,
but and I'm sure that this is a time related thing, or maybe even like a health related thing. So it's, it's whatever. But even the composition of like, okay, so magic is everything on the page before, and you have the demon loading up the thing, then a flash of light, and then Asta just in the middle of things. I wonder how this would look if it was completed, because it's like I feel like this is even like an awkward transition from the last page to just him in the middle of everything. I don't even see, and I guess we would need that last bottom panel to be completed to really see exactly what's going on here. But
as far as I can tell, the bottom panel, so if you go back to page 15, right? Yeah. 15, or you can go back to, let's say, 13. Go back to 13. So Julius in 13 is attacking the demon's arm with time magic, like basically trying to force age the arm or something, right?
Or maybe freeze it.
What? Well, I mean, like
undo the arm.
Yeah, something time related, right?
Yeah.
Time damage. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah. Then he's like, oh shit, it didn't work. Like my magic is done. It dispelled. I'm out of time. Then on page 15, the demon, as it's saying, like in this world, magic is everything. The demon is making a huge spirit bomb of demon magic, right? And it's like, in this world, magic is everything. Kind of saying like, people should despair at this moment, because in this world where magic is everything and the only tool people have to fight against this demon is magic, the demon just has more magic than everyone, right? It's like it's depressing, it's despair, it's a huge beam that's about to destroy the kingdom. And then here comes Asta, anti-magic, where magic therefore isn't everything. And then that bottom panel between 16 and 17, he's popping that balloon.
Right.
So that energy ball is being dispelled or whatever.
Yep.
And I do
I'm just like wondering about the slash. So is he going forward and stabbing?
He's stabbing forward.
Yeah, he's stabbing forward. So
piercing forward.
So then like this gray area on the blade in the panel above.
That's just his sword or something.
Yeah.
Or it's the ball.
Oh yeah, the ball of energy. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing it.
The thing I do like in this world, magic is everything. It's a kind of a throwback to a couple chapters ago when Lieb was like, I hate the other devils. I hate all these people. I want to take their magic away from them. I want to take everything away from them. And so like that's a nice thread through there. Or, magic is everything. And he's like, I still want to take everything from you. That's the only reason I'm working with this kid.
Yes.
And he's nice. I don't like him, but he's nice.
Love that.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, I think that's all I had for Black Clover this week, though.
Yeah, it's heating up. Things are really heating up.
I'm really, really excited to see how these next couple of chapters go now that Asta's here.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that'll do it for Black Clover. Okay. Getting into My Hero Academia, chapter 300.
Woo!
The Hellish Todoroki Family, Part Dose.
This is the exposition we've been craving.
I swear this is the chapter, that at least I know that we've been all of us have been wanting something like this chapter, and whether that's a combination of something like this plus the governmental stuff and
right,
but just like this kind of aftermath chapter is what I specifically have been like, okay, I want to see what the streets looking like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to see and this is a really crazy development because this is also like what's happening on the street level with people taking up arms and doing things on their own because of how much they've lost faith in the hero system is something that that we've been wanting to see. But also I think that these people that have these hero items, and I know that there's a low chance that they could be quirkless, but like I've just been wanting to see quirkless people take up hero, tech and try to be heroes with it with no quirk,
right.
You know what I mean? I always thought that there was room for that in the series in one way or another, even if someone without a quirk and was just using hero tech probably couldn't make it up to like Deku, Todoroki, Bakugo levels of like trying to be the number one hero or anything, but like definitely like sub factions of like quirkless people that are like, fuck this shit, we could fight too, you know what I mean? I've been really
I'm not
waiting
gonna take
to
this
see
standing down, I think it's interesting because like the Power Liberation Front, their company was all about this, so they've been like flooding the market with this kind of stuff for a while. It's all part of that like long con, but it's really interesting because it works. They understood people at more of a primal level, like
exploit that fear.
Heroism is about ideals, and I think there was a large focus on ideals and sort of like, and the government is more about rules, regulations, and stuff. That's not people. That's just things we agreed to because things are all right. And then, but like the Power Liberation Front, they're like, yeah, no, this is people want to be safe. That's it.
Hell yeah.
For
and
sure.
We see
I'm
some
glad
Wash
that you said
doing
aftermath.
Oh wait, what's going on?
I'm glad you said aftermath because this is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, and we got an actual like aftermath like titled chapter, like right after the conflict ended. And that's like showing like, okay, this is everything directly out, but this is the aftermath. Like these last couple chapters have been the aftermath chapters, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the Tartarus stuff and this ground level, what happens now. And it's best that we wait until after the events that immediately followed the war with the Tartarus breakouts and stuff to show this kind of chapter, obviously, because there's just more to show. But like the fact that you have the war that just took place and the villains breaking out, and now that the villains have broken out and that news has come to everyone and they're actually out running amok, this is when you show that like ground level civilian perspective. You know what I mean? Now that all of the, and I'm sure there's crazier shit to come or whatever, but now that you have like a good collection of really crazy things to show the people going through. This is perfect for that.
For sure.
It reminds me of there was a storyline in Marvel Comics called Civil War, and it basically was heroes versus heroes. A bomb, a mutant like blew himself up in Stamford, Connecticut, and like they were like, okay, no more super. Like if you have superpowers, we gotta know who you are. None of this masked hero secret identity stuff to where you can't be held accountable for like collateral damage and stuff. Like we gotta stop this. Kids are dying. You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, everyone sign up. Whoever doesn't sign up, you're wanted for
you're on a watch list now.
Yeah, you're on a watch list. Yeah. So then there are heroes who are like, yeah, I totally agree. There are heroes that are like, fuck that. What do you mean? My family is going to be targeted if my identity is revealed. You get this amazing argument, but then while that war is going on, in like the main event, you have a sub arc called a tie-in storyline, is where it's like tie-in chapters that like go into the overarching whatever. But then you have the tie-in story, Civil War Frontline, which specifically shows like a reporter and like another, private investigator or like paper person, you know, like, and it shows this exact thing, but for like an entire story arc on the side of the actual event. And it brings a level of like real, like it brings a level of reality to the fantasy, that's going on.
Right.
And Hero's always been good at making such a fantastical story feel real with its characterization and like real issues that the characters go through and whatnot. But like this kind of situation, I feel like is not shown often enough in large scale battle stories. You know what I mean?
No,
so
not at all.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I really appreciate the kind of on the ground war photographer in the DMZ demilitarized zones. Like they're just like, hey man, I'm in Yemen. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is brutal. This is not what you see in Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
Like, it's just brutal. Oh, man. But I also like that they kind of like, they handle a lot of like, Horikoshi handles a large breadth of human experience and interactions. And they always kind of bring it back. I think the reason I like My Hero Academia so much is because they keep bringing it back to the real world parallels.
Yeah.
Like with like Wash, he's trying to do his best. He's doing good, but people don't care. Like results are the
you
only
got here
thing that
too
matter.
late, Wash. We had to fight. Look at us.
Thing is, and like it is brutal what they're doing, and I do like how they touched on it. They're like, hey, they're suddenly engaging in armed combat. And it really makes sense of like how the school focused on trigger discipline of their students' powers, right? It's very much a militarized training practice. Despite being a school and all this academics, it was very much like, how do you responsibly do close quarter combats, the moral, ethical conundrums of using your powers against another living being, trigger discipline, like these kids were going through so much like rigorous training to handle things delicately, like the rescue stuff. Whereas like these are just civilians. They've just got like this random power arm and they're just swinging.
And now that you're bringing all of this up, dude, now that you're bringing all of this up, I'm wondering why. And maybe this was off screened or whatever, or maybe we'll get it once the kids go back to school. But like survivor's guilt is totally a thing. That's something that if you're going to have a military style training regimen inside of your children, that's maybe a class that you should have for them as well. It's like you're going to be in the field at a very young age. Like you're going to see your friends, teachers, loved ones die in doing this. Like you should probably
I think therapy is going to become a huge part of this thing. And I think therapy, like in our current society, is neglected. And I think that's going to be touched on a lot because a lot of these superheroes are like, I can't do it anymore. I can't handle the emotional stress and rigors and guilt of all of this. I can't do it anymore. And like, the teachers were trying to keep an eye on the kids. Like, hey, I think that Bakugo is developing really toxic traits with Midoriya. We need to keep an eye on him. And then all this stuff. Oh, it's fine. Oh, this blew up. Okay, they blew up, but they got it out of their system. We punished them. We told them, hey, this can't go on.
Yeah.
They're good now. but like they always worried about it, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
there's like the villains were like, oh, you're like us, fuck the system, right?
Yeah.
They're not gonna help you
Yeah.
get what you want.
Yeah.
You know, don't you just want to cut loose and go wild?
Yeah.
And,
Going back
exactly.
to Wash though, like in this scene with the civilians, you know, like, bro, you're too late. You know, we were just waiting it out inside since we couldn't leave, but we got caught in the crossfire anyway. Well, Wash, where were you? And I just love the professionalism of Wash, because obviously they have like a very bad a negative reaction to it, like, man. But then right away it's like, let's get those wounds disinfected. How about, you know, bubbler, clean bubbler, which is a very funny name for an ability. But
this gives me a lot of respect for Wash. Actually, like
absolutely. That's where I was going with this.
I've personally shat on Wash before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a fucking washing machine with legs or whatever. But like, you know what? Like, he did a good job. I'm very impressed.
He's a gentleman.
I'm mostly curious. Is this scene meant to? This could mean one of two things, right? This could mean that Wash is an example, like, of the ranks of heroes beginning to thin. Wash could immediately quit after this chapter, right? Yeah. Or this could be an example, as you said, Knox. Like, I kind of agree more with this line, that he's an example of someone who's sticking around. Yeah. Like, he's a real hero. He's, you know, doubling down on, you know, offering his time and effort and energy and potentially life, obviously now, to protect people. And then it goes into this chapter or this page with Yoroi Musha, the number 9 hero, stepping down or whatever.
Now, see,
I think that Wash is the consummate hero. I think he will become the consummate hero. Like, this is what Stain was talking about, a giant purge of blood to get rid of all the false heroes. And this next scene with the number 9 is another part of that, like, human interaction that you see with, like, the media companies, a celebrity, you know, like that girl that posted on Twitter with, like, the mannequin with the Nazi uniform, and then, you know, it's the company that makes the apologies for the K-pop stars. You know, it's like, it's not the celebrity themselves making the apology. It's always the company. You know, the management team. Oh, we offer our condolences. Blah 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 blah. God.
But I love how like this is so, like you were saying, Stain said, this society isn't going to fix itself.
Right.
I'm going to go kill everyone I deem a false hero, which obviously is problematic, because who are you to decide? But also, he's still right, because this situation following the Paranormal Liberation Front war is proving his point that there are these people who aren't in it for the right reasons, and they're leaving themselves. You know, sure, it took this shitty war where X amount of people died, you know what I mean? But like, this is the reform that Stain wanted, that obviously this society needs, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that this situation goes, okay, all of the people who weren't supposed to be here are leaving on their own. Now everyone who stayed, this is the heroism standard. Our reform can come from the example that the people who didn't leave and who are heroes no matter what the threat is, like, this is what we should model our new society after, is this contingent of heroes that stayed throughout all of the bullshit. I think that would be a beautiful kind of way to, like, try to start coming back from. I mean, obviously the negative effects of this war are going to continue to, you know, expand outward, you know what I mean? But once that dust settles, it will be a certain number of heroes left that stayed through everything, and then we get this amazing chapter where it's like, this is what we're modeling our new, you know, society after type shit. I think that would be fucking sick to see. And you just see Wash. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the gang left, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're here, you know, that'd be so hype.
Yeah, he's doing it. And like, I like that Yoroi's inner monologue was, all I ever wanted was love and respect. Yes. It wasn't about helping people or taking care of others or defending the weak. Yes. He wanted to be adored. And like, I like how he's like, falling on your sword, fancy way to say you're quitting your job. Just dodging your responsibility. Who's going to take care of us if you're the number 9 dude and just bouncing?
Seriously.
And it's like, but the thing is, like, is there a lifelong commitment, right? Does a hero have a lifelong commitment? Does a hero...
I think they have a lifelong expectation.
There's a lifelong expectation, because the public is, you know, ravenous. The public will never let someone just stop. Like, we
unless
look at
they're
celebrities
like
in our
unless
lives.
they died like barely, like almost died in public in their last big fight against a hero no one else can deal with, then I can see obviously the public's going to be like, okay, you're good, you know, like if
you have to be mangled though.
yeah exactly. Like
like
there has to be no you know, confusion at all, like that.
Why'd that boxer quit? He, you know, just because he had, you know, was punch drunk and had the shakes all the time doesn't mean he had to quit. Oh, you know,
right.
What about that rematch? You know,
what about that concussion? How about?
Yeah, exactly. And no one really, you know, it's. I think there's a fault that lies on both sides of the thing. I really like the touch on like the media companies and like how they're running themselves. Around hero agencies, because it is a form of celebrity, like Tiger Bunny, you know, the superheroes are celebrities, and they joined when it was easy.
That's the point they make. They're like, and we were at a you know, an unmatched level of peace, you know what I mean? Like we were chilling, and then everyone wanted to be a hero suddenly because it was easy work, you know what I'm saying? Like now all of a sudden the pressure's
Mount Lady
on.
was all about, you know, gaining fame and sniping, you know, achievements and getting.
Mount Lady ended up being a soldier though. Mount Lady ended up being a fucking G. And
she was shallow, but she put in the dirt.
I love how, now that you brought it up, that Mount Lady is an example of, you know, that situation where you signed up, you know, for selfish reasons, but then either through your experience or maybe you just didn't know that this was the kind of person you were, the actual threats come and it's heroism and that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that.
She stood up.
Yeah.
She stood up against All for One.
Did she?
Like, basically she saved people from when All for One was fighting All Might.
Oh yeah.
She was there trying to minimize the damage.
Yeah, she's a G, dude.
And to like, you know, obviously the more recent one, you know, standing from Gigantomachia, you know what I mean? Like that takes some
toe to
guts.
toe with Gigantomachia.
Yeah.
People were just giving up around that guy.
They
like, this is a mountain. We can't stop a walking mountain.
Exactly.
And it's a mountain that runs too.
Yeah.
Sprints.
Yeah. I want to talk about page 8.
Yes.
And this panel of All Might statue with the I am not here. Now, this is something that is one of the realest things that I've seen in My Hero Academia, as far as like whenever you have characters in stories that are, you know, well renowned and they fail, you know what I mean? You hear a bunch from the peanut gallery, you know, like, what happened to you? You know, you hear a wide variety of things, but that's always, you know, and there's other ways that the author shows, you know, that disdain amongst the public or whatever. But then but My Hero Academia sets it up so well to where like this is such a modern world, and the characters behave so realistically and like they feel like real humans, that like something like this is so powerful, such powerful symbolism inside of My Hero Academia because of how well that societal reaction aspect has been fleshed out in the series. Seeing a sign on fucking All Might, I am not here, is one of the biggest like
haunting.
Like the public has had enough kind of moments, and it's because of all of the little, you know, times that we've seen just a panel of a random civilian walking down the street like, yo, maybe these heroes like aren't all that. Yeah, anyway, you know what I mean? And then it's just all of that shit builds up into like this panel right here. Like this shit, when I turned the page onto this shit, I was like, damn.
Yeah, you had a sinking feeling. It was a very haunting moment for me. It like, shoot. Woo! It's like, you know, it shows just how much that entire society relied on him. He was Atlas holding up the world.
Yes. And
All for One was just waiting. He was like, I'm going to win. You have to eventually cave.
Yeah.
I've hurt you too badly. You need to cave.
You only got one body. I got however many. I could wait till it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really kind of brutal stuff. And it's like the heroes themselves relied on All Might to handle all the major threats that they couldn't. They never had a ceiling of incompetence, right? Like getting promoted to your level of incompetence and just realizing that that's your cap, that's your level. They never really had to experience that because the level, it didn't matter, because anything that was beyond them immediately got taken care of, just like that snap of the finger. I am here, right? And
that's a great point.
I love the inversion of the catchphrase.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you do when God's gone, right? Like, it hits hard. It's really good. And then right after that, Stain,
yes,
fam,
my guy, still favorite villain.
What is this? What is this building he went to?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
actually, I think I remember that store when it was either the one that Inko was walking by or the store that Gigantomachia like crashed around. If you look at the sign, look at the sign with the stylized, like big wood board with the stylized letters, we can just have someone will probably look back on it, just double check.
Yep.
I think that's the store that Gigantomachia crashed through.
Yeah.
And,
which people thought was the same store that Inko usually frequents or whatever, that we've seen her outside of before. And they were like, was Deku's mom crushed to death or whatever? Like,
well, the thing is, we have not seen her yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
but I'm waiting.
No one wants that to happen. Oh my god.
I'm waiting. Because that might be the part that like finally gives like Deku a hard edge.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, this is real. Like, this is too real.
If Inko died, if Inko
or even got hurt, like just like
that's we're seeing a whole
permanently
different
hard
Deku coming out of this.
Deku's going to be like, no, I need to do hardlining. I can't try to save everyone, including the villains. I need to draw a line.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take care of me and mine.
Yeah.
Including, and a lot of people are going to be mine, but you know,
if we get a confused, you know what I'm saying, like compromised Deku arc, I don't know what that means. Do you think he might
take, like, is he gonna do like hero brutality, like where he just takes it too far? Excessive force Deku, like excessive force Deku, because it's like the thing, like Spider-Man, great power comes with great responsibility. Not the responsibility to take care of yourself, but the responsibility to rein yourself in, because it's easy to punch down when you're, you know, Superman. Yeah. It's so easy to punch down.
That's actually Superman. A thing that's explored in Spider-Man storytelling is like, there's a story arc where Dr. Octopus takes over Spider-Man's body and like lives as Peter Parker for a while. So he's like, I'm going to be Spider-Man while I'm here. And then he's fighting a villain for the first time, and he punches the dude's jaw off. And he's like, Spider-Man holds back at all times? Every time he's punched me in my face, he could have killed me and he didn't? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm waiting for that for Deku.
That was a big moment.
I feel like Deku is going to be like the Todorokis can't take down Dabi. I will do that because he's my friend.
Oh, no.
And I think that Dabi's jaw is going to get punched off. Straight up. I feel it right now.
That would slap so hard immediately after Shoto said, like, my dad can't do it. I need to be the one to beat Dabi. But then if Deku immediately is like, no, none of the Todorokis can do it. I will do it for them, right? That would be crazy.
And that ties back to the sports festival with Deku and Todoroki.
It's also going to tie back. And he's like, and Deku will be like, you don't deserve to have like the guilt of killing a family member.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, this is me saving you from that guilt. I will take that on.
Number
for you.
one hero responsibilities type shit.
And it'll tie back into the original competition between Todoroki,
Bakugo?
No, it's the Ingenium.
Oh, sure. Ida.
Yeah, there we go. I was like, I know it's an E thing, Ingenium. My brain's like, Ingenium. Damn it. But like all them trying to capture Stain, right?
Yeah.
And it might be a parallel loop, a second progression arc of their characters of like, hey, I need to step up. I need to do this. I need to make the hard choices. Mm-hmm. And then Stain's just like, you're still not heroes yet.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You were so good when you were young. What happened? Like, and they'll be like, oh my God, are we being pitied by the villain? Like, we need to maybe we need to reflect a bit about ourselves. Like, have some introspection, because I want to see that kind of like forced aggression because they feel that they need to. Sure. And that's more of a societal expectation. That's a self-expectation. They don't really know as much. They're still kids. They're still formulating their ideas of what is justified. Like they're still coming to copes. Like Dabi feels very justified in everything that he does, and that's what makes him a villain. And Shoto is just like, I don't know, guy. I'm still wrapping my head around this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my god! And then this Todoroki family stuff, like this Endeavor stuff in this in this hospital. Yeah. This scene does so much. And not just like so much through the dialogue on the screen and obviously the visual storytelling that's done through the art, but also in like the subtle behavior of like this doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People were placing that responsibility on the shoulders of one man in particular. You know what I mean? And then it shows Endeavor there with the doctor. And then the doctor's like, your son and the others are mostly out of the woods. Even you somehow managed to pull through, Endeavor. I'm rooting for you. You know what I mean? And it to show, you know, obviously you have society that'll be split like fuck Endeavor, go Endeavor. You know what I mean? Like it'll be split on, you know, in that kind of way. But seeing it on like a personal level, because I'm sure we see this doctor like, yo, Endeavor, I got you. All right, peace. But then we're going to see other people that are closer to the situation that are like, yo, Endeavor, bro. What the fuck, dude? You know what I mean? So like seeing the split in the public is drastic, but seeing the split inside of the hero community, I feel like is going to hit way harder, obviously, because we're more invested in those characters. But it's just something that I didn't like even really think about until I saw this doctor right here, like say those things and like kind of like walk out. It's like, okay, so this doctor's rooting for Endeavor. Does everybody root for Endeavor? You know, on the that are close enough in the situation. You know what I mean? Like closer than a random citizen. You know, like maybe not here. They don't have to be heroes, but I mean, like, what does Recovery Girl think? What does you know Aizawa think? Now, like everyone's gotten this information. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah. And one of the things is like, I like how even when the guy's being supportive, there is a placement of societal expectation put upon the guy. Next panel, I'm breathing. Yeah. Like he's just like, I'm barely a person. Okay. Like it never stops getting put on your back. This expectation, this responsibility, the crown weighs heavy. And he's just like, I'm breathing. He's surprised at that. He's just like, I am still,
and maybe
just
almost like
terms.
disappointed with it. Also, like
sure.
Like I'm breathing.
Bit.
All right, I got to deal with all of this. Then you know what I mean? Like,
and he's just He's barely processing. He's like, the anesthesia hasn't even worn off. I'm just processing everything.
Right.
Like I'm trying to muddle my way through.
Yeah. It's this is really interesting to me because like we've talked a lot over the months and maybe even years, right, about Endeavor and like, does he deserve retribution? You know what I mean? Like you
mean redemption?
Redemption. Sorry, redemption.
Either one.
Well, I mean that's two different conversations.
I definitely meant redemption, right? And so thank you. But like, he's definitely been built up lately to be redeemed, right? Yes. Like he's very much. It's very interesting to me that he's very much being put in the place of a victim here, right? Like, damn, doesn't it suck for Endeavor that everyone is putting the responsibility on his shoulders in particular, and you know they're showing him at least acknowledging that he is reaping what he sowed, right? He agrees that yes, like he was correct in that way. I did create Dabi. Dabi attacked people, mass murder, you know, all this stuff. Like he acknowledges it, but like, damn, I mean, I see it happening that he will be redeemed, that I see him being forgiven by people, but like I still don't even know if I think he deserves it. You know what I mean?
And I think that this is something to where Kohei is very, more so than anybody, is aware of the character he wrote, right? You know what I mean? And regardless of what dialogue he's going to give Endeavor, like the dialogue that we see in this chapter that is obviously very pro Endeavor redemption,
right? You
know what I mean? Or regardless of anything. Regardless of how anyone feels, I think that Kohei, and I think that we, in as well as Kohei, know that the only real redemption that can come for Endeavor is after his death. Like, it has to be something to where, like, I really don't think that this is going to end with a Todoroki family being happy ever after, including Endeavor. I think that this is something to where even if Endeavor comes to terms with it, I feel better about myself. My family even if the family forgives him, if everything goes swimmingly in the narrative for Endeavor, I think he's still going to die. And I think that it's still not going to be, Endeavor was kind of all right until after his death. I don't think that moment comes while he's living, no matter what he says to anyone or does. And the only action that he could take would be a sacrifice or something.
We get the Vegeta against Majin Buu, super flame, burns himself out for the last time kind of situation.
Yes.
I'm
totally
feeling
see that.
like Endeavor will kind of achieve like ego death. Like he is going through ego death right now. He is like broken down from what his old ideals and desires were. He's like, those don't mean anything. I misplaced my judgment and value in things. I'm going through ego death. He's going to go through that. I think he's going to get a personal redemption, but publicly he'll be scorned until much after his death.
Yeah, I agree.
His legacy will be a very tumultuous, and I think his legacy will end up like he'll have a personal redemption, but not one of legacy.
Yeah,
right.
I see his personal redemption coming
way down the road.
I see his personal redemption coming in the form of him like going to go sacrifice himself, and maybe his family is present, and they're like, "Bro, it's all good. Like we love, like we forgive you," or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's cool to hear that, but like, ooh, I still gotta, blow myself up type shit. So he gets his closure before death. You know what I'm saying? We get the closure on screen of the family confirming things. Maybe he's still hated publicly until like way later we get some later closure about like, Endeavor was actually kind of tight. Like something like that. But like I was saying, and I'm not saying that I necessarily want Endeavor to die. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm like, I honestly would be cool either way, but I think Kohei specifically, despite whatever he's going to write inside of this family and how they feel about Endeavor, like I think that Kohei knows he needs to kill this character eventually.
I think he'll at least, at the least, he will end up retired, crippled.
Sure.
At the very least.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to end up happening with him. I definitely believe that he's going to have his personal redemption. Or he's going to be told, hey, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get up and go. Because his wife is coming. She's brought the flowers. And there's something, the language of flowers, that's actually really interesting. Her favorite flowers are the amaryllis. It's a lily. They are a pale white and red flower, like Todoroki's hair. Like his and her hair. They're a color that matches that. They are a winter blooming flower. She is cold powers. They represent shyness. They represent love and determination for a Victorian sense, because they are very tall and they were hardy and they endured. And they are tied to the Greek story of Amaryllis, who fell in love with Alteo, who was basically said to have the strength of Hercules and the beauty of Apollo, which was a sun god. So, like, I imagine that in this case, Alteo is kind of a little bit of Endeavor, where he's strong like Hercules, and also like burning like the sun. So she is Amaryllis, who suffered a long time at his doorstep for that story, and then they found love and stuff.
Dude, I love this link, bro. I was like not ready for this. This is sick.
No, that's why I genuinely think that he will have a personal redemption, but the public will hate him. There will be a few people that'll hold out and redeem his legacy post death / retirement. And part of me thinks that Stain's gonna do him in. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
Because Stain's like, I'm fresh out of jail. This is all that people are talking about. This guy definitely deserves to die. I wasn't able to get him when he was top dog, or at least number 2. But now he's kind of weak. I can get him.
And what's Stain even been thinking of this entire time? Like, he's got to have been thinking of, what am I going to do?
His list.
If I ever get out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, why wouldn't one of those motivations, until obviously we get a deep dive chapter of like how he feels nowadays. But like, based on what we know of him, why wouldn't he be like, all right, I'm out? Who's the number 1 hero right now? Oh no, let's get him out of here. Yeah, All Might is one thing, but like Endeavor, he really doesn't fuck with Endeavor. And when he like gave his monologue in the Hosu City stuff, I think it was Hosu, but in that arc, when he like shouted out like, and All Might's the only one who can kill me, or whatever he said, it stifled everybody, including Endeavor. Like, Endeavor took a step back when he launched that malice out. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know he's not. I think he actually even like said some things directly to Endeavor, like, you're not shit or something like that at some point in that.
I think that Endeavor's like silhouette was like flashed when he was like chastising the kids, and no, heroes aren't shit.
Yeah.
Like this crop of generation of heroes, they're not shit.
Yeah.
That definitely rings a bell for sure.
Also, I kind of want to see Stain be the wild card and go after villains and heroes. He's like, hey, man, I'm here for a hero society. I'm not here for a villain society.
Yeah.
I'm not on any of your sides.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make a better society. You're destroying it.
And Stain, I mean, obviously, okay, so like obviously Kohei's trying to write a Western story here, so you think of all the elements of like Western superhero storytelling. You have your white side of morality heroes, you have your fucking black side villains, and then you have the anti-heroes like the Punisher, Batman, you know what I mean, like things like that. So I mean, like you have to establish that, I think, in your series too, if you want to make sure you're hitting all of the marks. And I think Stain is that anti-hero representation. Even though he was introduced very much so as a villain, we obviously see his ideals from way back in chapter 80 or whatever holding, you know, reigning true throughout the rest of the series. And the more and more we learn about My Hero Academia, the more Stain makes sense, you know what I mean? So I feel like
here he's the most versatile and useful storytelling device that Kohei has right now, right? Like he could, as you said, Mello, he could easily take him and make him against villains, right? Because maybe all along, like, Stain was a good guy, just saying like, I'm a good guy, I want the heroes to be good, I'm chaotic good, so I'm gonna kill bad heroes, right? Like maybe he's actually good, or maybe he's bad and you use him to kill Endeavor but get the populace on the side of villains because if a villain kills public enemy number 1 Endeavor, like, who's a big shitbag and everyone knows he's a shitbag, maybe people sympathize more with the villains. Like he's just the perfect. He is a wild card, but he's like the perfect. He's like the queen in chess. He can do anything. Like anything Kohei wants out of this story, he can almost get anything through Stain. It's so sick.
Yeah, it's great.
I also think that he's going to be very important because he's going to be important to Spinner.
Yes.
And Spinner is the closest thing and the moral anchor for the group of villains.
Yes.
He idolized Stain. He joined the League of Villains because of it. Shigaraki needs his allies, his friends. Spinner's the one that's going to be on hand and was like emotionally closest to him besides like Compress and Twice. And I think that like if Stain goes through like a stance change and says, hey, I was against heroes, I'm not against society, you're destroying it, we need to stop All for One. Will Spinner turn on All for One and try to get Shigaraki away from him?
Yeah, dude. Dude, Spinner is switching so quick because Spinner has been, you know, questioning the League of Villains pretty much the entire time. Then we have that amazing scene where he puts the hand over Shigaraki's face and kind of like reawakens his inner Shigaraki or whatever. And like coming out of that scene, you have All for One there talking through Shigaraki, and Spinner's the one that's like, who are you, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Shigaraki
has
not
been,
him.
yeah, Shigaraki or Spinner has been like not fun. Like as soon as Spinner knows that Stain is out, they're clearly going to link up. And like but see, like that's another thing is that did Stain ever meet Spinner? Or was Stain apprehended and then Spinner came out? I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Spinner came out afterwards.
So like this could be either they're definitely going to team up and like we're finally together again type shit, or it's going to be like a Stain, you're out, I'm your biggest fan, and Stain's like, who the fuck are you, kid? Get the fuck away from me type shit. You know what I mean? It could be something like that. How is Spinner going to react to something like that? You know what I mean? But yes, Stain is the wild card plot device that could literally make this story do anything.
I feel like Stain is going to try to kill Spinner at least a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Like, doesn't it feel like that?
And Spinner's just like, no. I was just disappointed in society. You were right. And he's like, wait, of course I was right. What do you mean? Tell me more. And then he's going to be like, my friend is possessed. I need to get him away from this influence, the guy who was in the prison with you.
Yeah.
And then Stain knows who All for One is.
Right.
He has to. Like, he's been in the underbelly for so long. He has to know who that is.
Yeah,
and
I would assume
he knows what the implications are. He's just like, nope. And because like Stain gives the vibe of like an older generation, right? Like he's like All Might's age, right? Like he gives off that vibe, and he's lived through the age of terror already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see
so
that.
I know he doesn't want that.
Stan's definitely been around for a lot of fuck shit if he holds this intense of an outlook on the hero system. He's had to have been there for its darkest moments. So I like, or some of their darker moments. So I like the,
Right.
I guess I never really thought about Stan's age before. It's definitely not very clear based on his character design. So
it's hard to tell someone's age without a nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to make a comment about how amazing the facial expression art is in this chapter inside of Endeavor. Obviously we praise, Kohei up and down for how well he paints emotions on his characters and how there's never any doubt about the emotional state,
Right.
of any character at any time. He paints a very vivid gateway to the mind of these characters inside of their facial art.
Yeah,
and I feel like
15 especially 15,
Yes.
the left of 15, like
Yes.
wow, like to draw an older, like obviously Kohei is obviously drawing younger kids mostly, but to draw an old guy, facial hair, wrinkles, crying, that's very it's not something you draw every day. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
No, it's like watching our parents' generation. Like a lot of the dudes don't cry, right?
Yep.
And it's like watching that kind of thing. And then like after all that heart heaviness, there's that moment of levity, still a very humanist outlook of Todoroki, the kid, just being like, he's crying. Holy. And because he's a kid, he's never seen his dad cry, right? He's just like, whoa, maybe this is a bad time. And his mom's just like, no, I'm going in.
Right. And I think the best drawing in the chapter is, page 12 with the Toya drawing, the Toya panel. At least there's the most detail there. It's very in your face, and I think at least the way that I took it when I was reading it, and I'm analyzing the art, I can see that there's very low detail everywhere else besides facial expressions or just like faces, right? And you have like a lot of backgrounds that don't have a lot to them until you turn this page to this very detailed face of Toya, and that hits me. I feel like in a very specific way because it's like, because of how drastic that page turn is into such a detailed face, we're supposed to really feel that thought of Toya the way Endeavor is in the moment.
Yes.
Like, this is really in your face. You're really thinking about this. Endeavor's really thinking about this, and it's really weighing on him. And now we are too, because of the contrast in art leading up to this panel and coming out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like so like Toya. Right there.
I mean, that's what he saw, right?
Yeah.
Based off the angle, that's what he was looking at as his kid was looking down on him, trying to kill him.
For sure. I wanted to comment, if we're talking about the art here, very beginning of the chapter, page 1 going into page 2 into page 3. I think this like glass symbolism it's just very well executed. It's like a movie, right? Where like page 1, fine, you're just getting the exposition, and then like the scene changes. The first scene we have is basically this cup, and then the cup explodes as it's saying like, the frustration is built over time, but the cup is exploding in a restaurant or whatever where these people, this gang is like attacking. So like you can see behind the cup is this chalkboard, and then the next panel on the top of page 3, that's the chalkboard. So it's like a movie, like the intro to a movie or something. It's very well done in terms of like, I don't know,
very
cinematography or something.
I was literally just going to say Tarantino, and it's like,
Yep.
I love how we have this symbolic glass breaking to represent the levees bursting, but like you have what makes it feel the most like a movie is you have this poetic narrator on top of symbolism that transitions perfectly into your scene.
The scene, yes, beautiful. It's beautiful.
That is literally like movie cinematography. Like that's how it is done in movies all the time.
Yes.
And to see it in comic book. Now, there are a lot of authors and illustrators and author-illustrator combos that, really can make their stories feel like movies a lot using techniques like these. But like, I feel like I feel, at least me personally, I'm having a hard time remembering too many times I've seen this in manga executed this well. You know what I mean?
This is very well done.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Chainsaw Man when they first meet the Darkness Devil, like the fog and that kind of like jarring thing, like object. And then it just slowly zooms out.
And
Oh,
Fujimoto
man, you
is someone
conceptualized that so well.
Fujimoto is a creator that I have been comparing to Tarantino inside of his like approach to storytelling too. So that's why I was like, man, what am I thinking of Tarantino? And then you said Tarantino. He's like, yes, I was fucking thinking of that. And you bring up Chainsaw Man, and it's like, yes,
exactly. Yep,
yes,
it all ties together.
Yes, it does. Oh man. Wow,
that's
though,
all
you
I
guys.
had for Hero.
Yeah, I think
Fantastic
I'm good too.
chapter.
I'm very excited to see what Ray has to say directly to Endeavor, because I think that this is the first time that they've talked to each other in a really long time directly, especially face to face. You know what I mean? So yes, very excited. But yeah, that is.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm expecting him to put him to work, and like you were, it's like this is not the man I fell in love with.
This is the opinion we've been
so
wanting.
Much shit.
Yeah, this is this is the one. Like, I mean, like obviously we've wanted opinions from the entire Todoroki family, but Ray is the opinion
number one I want.
Have been waiting the most to hear from. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Oh man, what about your heart? I'm waiting.
Ooh, man. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for My Hero Academia, you guys. All right. Peace de Resistance, One Piece, chapter 1003, Night on the Board. We got Reiju cover.
Yeah.
Reader request. Reiju receiving the affections of a scorpion with a cactus flower. Love that.
It's the only thing I found of note of this cover is actually the reader request. The person who did the reader request. I guarantee I've seen Noda Skywalker before, and now I'm like, how many times has Noda Skywalker submitted one of these things? Like, who is Noda Skywalker? I'm so curious.
Skywalker? Wait a minute. That is
long-time listener, first-time commenter, Noda Skywalker.
Yeah. But my God, this chapter is all smoke, all business right away.
All business.
Luffy continues the Gatling. Punches his lights out. Big Mom reaction panel is drastic.
Yes. Oh man.
Everyone going crazy.
Everyone's horrified. They're just like, he's like a golden god.
Yeah. Yeah. I love seeing that Luffy's time limit on Gear 4 is still a thing.
Yeah, still a thing. Yep.
Thank God.
I mean, I guess I don't love to see that, but I mean, I'm someone who like very much so appreciates caveats and like nuanced combat in ways where it's a lot more than just abilities clashing. And then like my ability was big enough to get like, it's either I throw my ability at you and I either blocked it or I got hit by it. And then like that's like the whole fight. I hate when it becomes like that. It can become like that in One Piece often, but One Piece, Oda has, you know, things like this in place to where it's a little bit more than your average ability clashing, you know, combat like style.
Especially for a boss fight.
Yeah, especially for a boss fight. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that that's still a detriment that he has to deal with. But other than that, man, Big Mom got busy this chapter again.
Woo!
With this blaze, Happy Mother's blaze.
Yeah.
Luffy was Zoro with Luffy on his back again, as he should, as the first mate-ish character.
I loved seeing that. I love this, like, we get like a Tatsumaki battle. So like, you know, Kaido says Dragon Twister, and of course Dragon Twister, I had to look this up. I was like, is this Tatsumaki is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And it is the traditional Zoro, you know, spin attack, Tatsumaki, Dragon Twister, and then like give like a battle, right? Like Tatsumaki, it's like, okay, oh yeah, well, Black Rope Tatsumaki. It's like,
See, and this is going back to what I was saying last week when Big Mom hit him with the Indra. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, you got Hindu named attacks? Bet. Wait till you see this Ashura. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now here's Kaido. Here's my tornado. Zoro's like, no, here's my tornado. It's gonna be, man. Zoro stands are eating so fucking hard right now.
Oh man, it's going hard
into the slash.
It makes me think of the Three Talons Claw. And the fact that like most Imperial, like not just the character that was like Ace and Luffy's like brother,
Sabo.
Sabo, I didn't want to butcher his name, but the like Asian dragons, like the Eastern dragon that Kaido is, typically are depicted with 3 claws. And then they're both doing Tatsumaki. So were the 3 swords that Zoro was using kind of a representation of him being a claw?
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd have to like
Oda
confirm,
loves his 3s. I do know
for sure. For sure. Now, like the the Asian dragons, they have 3 if they're like the lowest class of Asian dragon, and like as you go up in like divinity or like being more associated with the emperor, you'll get like a 4th finger and in some cases a 5th finger on the dragons. And like if you see like a pot, for example, that's like a dragon that has like 5 fingers on it, you know that pot was like owned or made by like the emperor, because like it was actually forbidden to use the pattern with 5 fingers by commoners or whatever. So I'm kind of curious,
really
like
fucking cool
how many fingers does Kaido's dragon have? I don't even remember. Like, and
it doesn't show his hands. Curiously enough,
it does show.
It shows hands, but like not all of
4.
it.
We see a claw.
Okay, 4.
Yeah. So if you go on to page 4, actually, coincidentally, the middle panel. Boom! You can actually see his foot. You know what I mean? Underneath his stomach.
Sure. And it's like the 3 fingers and presumably a 4th thumb or whatever. Yeah. Yep.
Is what I see anyway.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very cool.
Ooh,
but yeah, no, I love that shit.
He's not the emperor. He just wants to be.
Yeah.
If they're taking the symbolism that far or whatever, right? Obviously, yeah.
But I love how like everyone gets their licks in last chapter, and then this chapter it's just Luffy finishing off the Kong Gatling assault. And then just Zoro, you know, is it's just Luffy and Zoro this chapter that deals the damage. And of course, obviously, Kaido going into his hybrid form is hype. And there's been I know that's like the last page of the thing, but I just want to bring that's the last page of the chapter. I just want to bring it up right now because I see a lot of people, you know, talking about what brought Kaido to this point. You know what I mean? Like, was it because Zoro slashed him and he said, all right, I've had enough, I'm going hybrid because this swordsman did too much damage to me? Was it a culmination of, okay, the scabbards beat me up for a little bit, then Luffy and all of the supernovas came and spanked me up for a little bit, now I just got hit with this Kong gun and this dragon twister, okay, maybe it's time to go hybrid now? You know, there's been a lot of speculation on like what actually brought out this hybrid form from Kaido. That's not something that I'm necessarily interested in, but all I want to say is that in regard to that, this chapter was all Luffy and Zoro, and really, like, kind of, I don't know, like Zoro is like the focus here, and he did get some drastic damage on, you know, Kaido, but like ultimately, it's like when it comes down to it, the highlight of the damage leading up to this is Luffy and Zoro. You know what I mean? Which is really fucking cool. You know.
Go for it. Melon.
Sorry, I just like that Trafalgar's been with the crew long enough to know immediately, hey, there's a 10-minute cooldown on this. We need to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get my boy out. And I really like that. It's a nice touch. I think that Kaido going into hybrid form is more of a tactical thing, right? Like he went to dragon mode because he can do large AoE attacks, and he was like, well, I'm basically impervious. And he's like, oh, I've taken a lot of hits. They can actually hurt me. I'm going to shrink down. I'm going to make myself a smaller target.
Exactly. 100%. I totally agree with you for sure. And of course, like as Nox was saying, like the damage that has triggered that, I think you could very easily say has been the supernovas, cumulative but mostly Luffy Zoro to be like, all right, now I really am too big of a target for these two, obviously. But overall, the 4 of them, right? Like I think it's definitely.
I am the broadside of a barn. I need to shape up.
Yeah,
I'm still dangerous no matter what form I take.
I love how we go into the cipher pole business because the cipher pole is obviously very hype whenever we see them. But as an intelligence, we always get this title with it, the world's most powerful intelligence agency. And I'm sure that if we go back into the Water 7 and Enies Lobby arcs, we'll see, you know, like maybe on a recent reread, we'll see, you know, like more intelligence agency stuff in between the lines. But seeing actually them sitting down with a go board, you know what I mean, and actually like talking about intelligence agency stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like is the first time that we've actually gotten this from like before back in Water 7 Enies Lobby. For what I can remember, it was just like, this is what the cipher pole is. This is what they do. We hear all of this cool stuff, but then all that we see them do is just fight the Straw Hats. And then we hear stories about how they've done intelligence agency stuff like, you know, on the side. But this is actually showing it. You know what I mean? And that's really fucking cool. I
love it. And we get a ton of stuff here. So it's like they're looking at such a meta level in terms of the overall conflict on the world that's like, okay, Doflamingo's out of the picture, and even if the fight wasn't like Wano specific, like because Doflamingo's out of the picture, eventually the new generation would clash with Kaido because Kaido obviously was hiring Joker, aka Doflamingo, to do his smile fruits. So like without Doflamingo in the picture stopping people from attacking Kaido, like eventually it would have gotten to Kaido eventually. And so it's like, he's like, oh, like it was almost destined, it seems, right? Ordained that like samurai and pirates would link up at some point, just because of how the power structure of the world fell into place, right?
Yes.
So like this kind of stuff is so interesting, so interesting.
And I love how we get this scene to really show, like, okay, now that you're finally getting a Cypher Pole intelligence agency scene, it's everything that you would need it to be. You know what I mean? Like, this is like levels of thinking that are so deep and so worthy of this title, world's most powerful intelligence agency. It's like, it's
so deep. It's like they are Go players relative to like Shogi chess players, right? Like they're showing a Go board. Go is the most complicated of all these board games, right? And so like to see them like casually like putting the Go pieces down and like building this board and shit, it's like not only do they know a lot, but they're super strategically driven, obviously. And the Go symbolism I think works really well to be like, these people know what the fuck is going on. Like,
they understand the patterns of the world.
Yes.
The thing I like about this scene is that they're in the like courtesan section, right? They're in the courtesan section. Spies, famous trope. People are loose-lipped in bed. One of the people commenting on the exact number of units and infiltrators they have in on the thing is dressed as a courtesan. So they have had this area like seeded with talents that they've been like drawing information from, keeping an eye on, and it makes so much sense as a spy network. An aside, Sanji was running away from the monster courtesans. I'm waiting for him to be invisible and find out stuff from Sword of the Pole.
Yo, that'd be so sick. He's running, and he hears talking that sounds important. Then he goes invisible, takes a closer look, and hears this shit. Ooh,
and he's like, oh god, and he's like, guys, we're being played. And then he has to go across the battlefield, kicking and jumping and running and sprinting and stuff, trying to get to like his buddies. Like, hey, we need to step it up. We need to play smarter, not harder. We need to like do what they're saying we need to do, or we're gonna get completely overrun. And we need to watch our backs because these guys are watching.
Dude,
like I'm waiting for that to happen.
I think that this scene, and I've been talking about it. We've been talking about it, pretty much since the real conflict inside of Onigashima started. Really, like as soon as Kiku lost her arm, that's when it was like, okay, this is starting to feel like a war now. You know what I mean? Like this starting to feel like a real war. Like that chapter itself was so high octane with really showing the chaos of everything and showing the stakes of everything at the same time, where I was like, okay, it's starting to feel like a war arc now. But this Go scene with the Cypher Pole and all of the strategic, predictions and divinations and movements that they're making, and just the dialogue and the conversation that they're having in general is really making it feel like war. You know what I mean? You have to have these scenes where they're moving pieces around on a board and talking about the next leg of the of the situation to really drive home that like larger than that, really grandiose aspect to it. You know what I mean?
Like, what's the difference between a general and a spider in like this shadow war that Cypher Pole is playing? Is like I
also love that at the beginning of this Cypher Pole stuff, the first words we get are, "Good grief, first our business partner dies." So we have basically explicit confirmation, about as explicit as you can get in One Piece, that this dude, Orochi, he's dead. He's literally dead. And people are saying like, no, Orochi's not dead. He's going to regrow a head. And no, Kanjuro's not dead. It was a clone, a drawing clone of her. Nope, Kanjuro's dead. Orochi's dead. These people are dead. You know what I mean?
It's either explicit confirmation or it's explicit foreshadowing that he's not dead.
Because what do you mean explicit foreshadowing? Right.
So hear me out. Good grief. First, our business partner dies. Now, this is obviously something that Oda wants people to think is true. Now, if this is true, then it's true. Whatever. But if it's not true and Orochi is coming back, then yes, like, everyone should think that he's dead, because him coming back is going to be something that shocks and surprises everyone involved in a way that's going to shift, the situation in ways that no one was predicting. So that's a chaotic element that Oda could be saving, you know what I mean, in a very One Piece style surprise. You know what I mean?
I agree that it could be a surprise, but I do not think this panel is meant to be foreshadowing that he's not dead.
Okay.
Right? This is misdirection or confirmation. I mean, like, I think it's much more likely confirmation. Yeah. But I don't think this panel is meant to imply at all that he's actually not dead.
Okay.
It's
if he comes back though, then this panel will have been hey, remember Orochi? You know what I'm saying? Let's just show you his face again so you remember that he's a character involved here. And when he comes back, it's like, man, everyone thought this dude was dead. Cypher Pole thought he was dead. Kaido thought he was dead. It's going to be one of those kind of situations if he does end up living. You know what I mean?
Yes. He did make a pact with the witch, so like there's tricky stuff.
I feel like it can't be over for him. I feel like it would be so crazy, and it would be like, damn, Oda, you really did that. Looking back on it, I'll be like, fuck yeah, go ahead. Let's make this a darker situation in a series that I feel like needs more of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. Sure. I mean, like, I'm definitely keep him dead. But I mean, like, if not, I feel like it's so One Piece to just have him bust back out eventually and be like, guess what, y'all? You know, like characters you thought were done and down for the count always come back in a surprise like that in some kind of crazy way. You know what I mean? So
at the very least, like Orochi being killed on screen, it wasn't an off screen. So like on screen, that's big. And this panel, I don't know, for me is like really solidifying that he's really dead. We shouldn't be waiting for a surprise to happen. But if it does happen, and if it's done well, which Oda obviously would do it well,
of course,
I'd be there for it. But for me, this is like, all right, I'm resettling. I've always thought he was dead. So I'm just leaning back further in my lazy boy. You know what I mean? I'm like I've been relaxing. He's been dead. But for the record,
this motherfucker been at it. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Is that everything?
You know, it makes me wonder what like Cypher Pole's been behind, because like Cypher Pole was for the world government, like pro world government, even though the nobles themselves are just abominable human beings.
Right.
Right. And so it makes you wonder, like, are they propping up those people, helping engender a certain culture so that people can just hate them and then have a target, a face to hate while they're doing their stuff in the background?
Sure.
They say their business partner, Orochi, is like dead. What was he getting from them? Was he getting the smile fruits? Were they siphoning the smile fruits off Kaido through Orochi?
Sure. What was the business? What was the business part of this deal, right?
It wasn't food, like
right.
It's like I think that like I could definitely, because like all the Cypher Pole guys that we saw when we first met Cypher Pole all were like Zorianthrope devil fruit users, and so I could definitely see Cypher Pole trying to get the corner market on artificial fruit powers. Like in a world where the greatest bounty heads and like game-changing individuals of the world are all devil fruit users, it would make sense that a group trying to control the world, even indirectly, would try to get their hands on that. And they would prefer that other people do the hard work for them.
Yeah.
Sure, for sure. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Wow. You guys have anything else?
No, I think that's all I had. It was a very straightforward, just very hype chapter, very right? Like chapter. mostly battle,
Yeah. But with One Piece, I mean, the chapter could be 2 pages long, and all you see is Luffy throw a punch, and we'd still have at least 10 minutes of shit to talk about. You know what I mean?
I like the giant metal golem. Like, it's just this giant monstrosity skull of metal. Yeah. It's really, I like that aesthetic a lot. Yeah. I want to see more of his character to just kind of be up front and get to do some more cool stuff, and maybe escape with the crew. Because like in this such a hectic place, there's so many enemy combatants. I think they're gonna have to cluster together with who's next to them, adjacent to them, and escape via that to a safer location, and then just kind of reassess the aftermath afterwards, because they'll need to bounce from that battlefield for sure.
Sure,
absolutely.
Regardless of who wins.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I think that'll do it for this conversation.
Hell yeah.
Great combo, you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bang out discussion. Well, thank you all so much for watching if you did. Slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the subscription or the subscribe button. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit the bell icon so that we can chirp you when the new content is live. Also, take a look at the description down below so you can follow us on all of our individual social media accounts, as well as join our Discord and other online communities associated with Project Manga. And also, while you're down there, there's ways to support what we do through our online store and our Patreon. And yeah, Mello, dude, thanks for joining us again, man.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Yeah, absolutely. Always incredible conversations whenever you're around, bro.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
But with all that said, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Knox.
And Nickums.
Catch y'all next time.